My late 20s were conflicted to say the least. I spent all of a month trying to find a music-related job in Bloomington. Having spent everything, which wasn't very much, I started my work at Starbucks for the next 3.5 years. And so on October 9th, 2017 at 8:35 p.m., over 2 years later, I started work on my Not Starbucks book as part of work with a counselor that I was seeing. Now looking back, the ideas in here were largely just handling symptoms and not the core problem. Project ideas for online content that never surfaced, a lot of strategies for handling my Enneagram personality type, which I still maintain is the most convincing of any of the personality systems, but no matter how much I got into it, it didn't solve a core problem. Another page of projects. This one, it seemed like I got through a few things, including working on latte art, which had to do with coffee. Hobbies that didn't really satisfy me. Things to do in my personal life, free writing. Let's see what we got here. First line is, I feel like garbage, and I only like that I'm writing in cursive. I don't want to show this too clearly, but there's a paragraph here where I start notating exactly when I start writing words, and I start feeling twinges of pain as I'm recalling them. Entire pages devoted to making decisions. This is actually a fun page. Bloomington has a radio show where you guess the classical music piece that's playing for an hour, and this was a page that I recall with a couple friends. We did pretty well that game, even if we Googled a few of the answers. By the way, I'm convinced that everybody who plays Ether Game is doing at least a little bit of Googling, even the people that have been playing for years, just saying. And my favorite page of all, a blank page that just says getting started and then nothing else. The front cover says, if found, please contact, call, or text Jared Webb, and then a phone number that I don't use anymore. If you find this, please throw it into the trash for me. Let me put it this way. This is a Yarn Yoshi amiibo. This is a normal-sized amiibo that lets you, using a Nintendo console, access another color of a character or a specific item. You tap this onto a reader, and then it lets you get a small little item. It doesn't do much. However, I wanted something more than this. I got this one time, but I really wanted this one. I was convinced that if I had this big guy, whose reader is the same, but it's his foot instead of his whole body, I was convinced that I was going to be happier. I was convinced that if I got the bigger thing, the thing that just filled up my time and my space, that I would be having a better life. Better quality of life means better life, right? Well, if that's the case, I screwed it up, but really I think the answer is no. There are some things I was not accepting about myself. There were some limitations that I did not recognize. There were some things I did not accept. If I was in a job that I was not enjoying, with the idea that I would work my way up the ladder in order to enjoy a better life and a better career, but I wasn't liking it at the lower dregs, and I just thought that if I got promoted to a high enough level that things would somehow become easier. Let me make the connection between the Not Starbucks book and these two amiibos that I cannot guarantee that I didn't just bring out here for an excuse to put them into a video. I was working at a job that I did not like. So much so that I needed to create a journal of broken, fragmented ideas in order to find some sort of escape. That's me right here. The projects in this book that I wrote down were an attempt for me to elevate myself from here to here. Bigger, happier, more stuff to do, more things that can be unlocked at higher levels. The problem is that I carried the problems from here to here. I did not leave them behind. They were in me the whole time. I had to solve the root problem and see that this little progression, this little game of am I this big or this big, am I this happy or this happy in my current situation and life values? This whole dichotomy does not work. Something had to be broken down at the core level. And I'm going to need a lot more amiibos and knickknacks around my house to explain it all.